What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology, the Titans action. Spawning the left-hand side, sticking with Odin. His name is Hell's Ravage. His opponent also sticking with Loki. His name is Gaboo. This is game number 2 of this best of 3 series for the Fimbulwinter 4 tournament hosted by AOL Iron Maiden. Excited to see what's going to happen in this one. I haven't seen a crazy amount of luck with Odin on this map. A crazy amount of success, I probably should say, with Odin on this map against Loki. Loki seems to be the go-to pick on this map. I'm excited to see if Hells has got something in particular he wants to try here. He does find the Bridle of Pegasus, giving himself an extra map hacking scout if he wants to grab that. Also, the Ship of Fingernails has been found here. A lot of very, very good relics in the middle of the map here on March. Always going to spawn 3 or 4. I can never quite remember. But I am interested in seeing if Hells decides to go for some sort of a Heimdall rush or going to play for more of that safety play, as Pelt of Argus has been found here as well. Plus 6 unit line of sight there. As Hells, a little bit of idle time as he's getting his dwarf out, ensuring that he gets that one there. And we'll see how this game is going to shape up as Hell's coming back to his main base, scouting that one around, has dropped his house, has scouted his town center. Anything on this town center just yet? Not really. Gaboo, on the other hand, not really scouting that center all too well. He's got himself 5 pigs. Compared to Hells, he's got 7 pigs, so he's finding some more, which is very, very important on this map. But yeah, Hells and Gaboo basically doing the same opening here, it seems. Very, very little in the way of difference to start this game off, as Hells does drop the temple in his main base. Not going to be going for any sort of aggression to start things off. And I tell you, one thing that I do absolutely love here that Gaboo has changed. What Gaboo was doing in this map in the Norse mirror was he was playing for the center of the map early with the villagers. And what that ends up doing is if you see your opponent going for that, and you should see that as Thor and Odin, if you see your opponent on the forward hunt early, it just gives you that green light to just rush your opponent, because the fact of the matter is your opponent has spent all of this walking time to move forward and eat, say, these boars over here in the middle of the map, or the boars over here, all of this walking time to just push them off that and send them back into their main base. And it does end up mattering. You end up being quite far behind if you go for that play and your opponent catches you. So I like that Gaboo is just eating his own home hunt here. He's going to have much more resources than he otherwise would normally. We do see Freya coming in as a final dwarf going to be coming through here for Gaboo. We'll see if Gaboo starts anything. Nope, he's going to go for that 4-SETI here. So Hells, yet again, goes 1 villager less than his opponent here to the next age. Gaboo going to have that little bit extra resources than Hells does, though Hells does have the 20% bonus hunt from playing Odin. So after all is said and done, if we take a quick look at the resource total here, it is advantage Hell's Ravage in terms of total resources. At the current point, though, we'll see how the game is going to muster itself. As one thing that Hells is doing, because he's playing this one very, very safe. Thank you for the prime there, Mulso. Appreciate you, my friend. One thing that Hells is doing at this point, playing very, very safe at the start of the game, just means that Gaboo, he's not gonna feel any pressure. So this later advance, no problem. He's getting his Herser out. He's moving around to grab the relics, grabbing the Ship of the Fingernails is going to be really, really important. An extra 24 free food a minute is great. Pelt of Argus also very, very useful there with the extra 6 line of sight. Definitely worth picking that one up as well. We did not see. Did we see any relics getting picked up over here? I don't see. Oh, there he is. So he does get that. Well, he goes for this relic first, which is the Bridle of Pegasus. I like that for Gaboo. I think that Loki having a Pegasus is going to be really, really important. He's going to be able to scout everything around the map and know exactly where to send his Herser at every single point. Plus, having Spy is a a really, really important, a really, really big thing for Gaboo. As Gaboo starting to move across the map here. See some more units getting trained out on this position. Houses coming up and the like as the dwarves for Hell's having a little bit of trouble getting those built with the amount of units he's training here. You got to be careful. I do think that there's a point at which I think once you get 7 dwarves, you should actually go gather a dwarf, gather a dwarf, gather a dwarf. As we do see a forest fire, not getting any damage done onto Gaboo there. Just pulls back nicely as the Herso do spot some villagers on the front, getting a little bit of damage here as the spy onto the Valkyrie. A bit of an interesting spy there, considering that's a unit that Gaboo is going to want to kill here. Can Hells sneak in and pick that one off is the big question. Answer is not just yet, as we do see Herso popping out. Hells is going to still be able to put more pressure. I think he should send his entire army forward until Gaboo hits Hall of Thanes. And the thing is that Hall of Thanes normally hits at about 6 to 7 minutes is roughly when your Hall of Thanes is hitting. So you should be putting on as much pressure as you can as Odin pre-7-minute mark. As the troll over here does get spotted. Pegasus flying around, going to try and find something where that's concerned. As this troll is going to get cleaned up. More units pushing forward here for Hell's Ravage, looking for something to take out as Hall of Thanes now on the way for Gaboo. And this timing that I was talking about is about to be over, and then Gaboo basically gets free reign in these fights moving forward as Hell's kind of noticing he needs to pull back ever so slightly at this point. Well, not just yet. He's got, in population-wise, he's 10 population in front, but that Hall of Thanes is just so big in these fights. As Hell is attempting to stop that Hall of Thanes from coming through by taking out the Longhouse. Not quite able to do so. As Hall of Thanes pops, and the Gaboo Herso say, it's about time to get out of here. Hell's Ravage. And Gaboo knows this. He knows how strong this is. He's going to push in. He's going to pull out, get one attack. Great micro from Gaboo thus far. As Hell's still trying to take this one down. But look at this from Hell's. Early throwing axeman, medium throwing axeman. We'll see if this is going to be enough for him to win this fight moving forward. As Gaboo, Gaboo doesn't like fighting. Gaboo wants to move forward, pick straggler units off, hit raids onto villages. The villages of Hell's Ravage are about to be expiring on this food. He can move back onto the pigs for a little bit here as Gaboo is a little bit just confused about where he wants to be with these Herso thus far. The relics getting dropped out here. Bridle of Pegasus and Ship of the Fingernails. Very, very useful. As the Herso pulling in, we do see a Valkyrie spawn here for Gaboo. Not the one he wants. He wants to have the Iron here. A troll spawn again. Not the one he wants in this fight, but it might be enough for him to win this one as the Herso need to get onto those Valkyrie. A Valkyrie spawn, still not an Iron spawn here for Gaboo. Can Hells win this fight, though, is the big question as more Herso are going down. Population differential getting very, very close. Another Valkyrie spawn here for Gaboo, as it looks like this is too much for Hells to handle. Even without the Iron spawns, Gaboo manages to win that fight. More units sitting on the back here as Hells is now very much behind in this game. Hells starting to eat his hippopotamus over here. The Pegasus scouting out does spot the villagers on the wood line for the time being as Gaboo ready to start scouting around and find what he needs to find. The problem here for Gaboo is not a problem at all. I thought he wouldn't have that many production facilities, but he does get himself the double longhouses back up. Does find a ox cart kill here from the perspective of Hells there as Gaboo pulls back there, and Hell's going to have to retreat back for the time being. Temple going to get up. I would love to see those relics getting picked back up for Hell's Ravage. Or for Gaboo at this point, but both players ignoring them for the time being. It's only a little bit of assistance, but the extra food does matter as we do see the units coming in. We'll be able to snipe down a couple of these Herso here as Gaboo actually deciding to take this fight a little bit longer than he otherwise should have. As he does retreat away, keeps his units alive after all is said and done. And Hells is looking for potentially another fight here. As look at this from Gaboo. moving up onto this gold on this position. We do see the Raven is here. The problem generally in this matchup for Odin is Odin wants to be putting pressure onto that gold mine, but doesn't have the mobility to get the pressure onto said gold mine. We do see some dwarves already onto this gold over here, leaving the gold in his main base with 72. They're probably not the best of well, I mean, obviously he has to leave there, but I was thinking maybe one play that is always going to be valid is actually get onto that gold mine a little bit earlier. If you're being aggressive, you can kind of save the gold in your main base, but we see Hell's Ravager's army getting caught out of position yet again as the Hearse are pushing forward. And Hell's going to regroup in onto this location here and see if he can take this fight. 89 population to 99. That troll on the back is just going to be going to town on those throwing axemen here. It just does not go down, but now we do see the Hearse manages to get through, finishes that one off. Great micro there from Hell's Ravage. But can he continue to fight this location? He needs to get his Hearse targeting enemy myth units in these fights, as he does manage to do so. But now an Einhjar spawn coming through here for Gaboo is going to give those Hearse even more damage, pushing them up to like 12 damage per second for a split moment there. But it does look like Hells is able to win this fight for the time being, cleaning up that Einhjar as well, as Gaboo kind of throws the advantage a little bit there, in my opinion. Didn't really need to take that fight there. Once you're in front with Loki, I think the best way to continue is just to utilize that speed advantage that you have. Push that Odin player around the map as much as you can, and just not engage until you're closer to full HP, until you've got all of the or full population, excuse me, or full HP, or in the heroic age, or something like that. Good micro yet again from Gaboo, keeping the Hearse alive where that's concerned, as the army now pushing in onto this position. 80 population for Gaboo. Hells does have the advantage here. Good micro yet again from Gaboo. You got to get those throwing axemen on the right unit. Another Einhjar spawn, but at this point, at the start of this fight, is going to help out a ton here. That's good focus fire from Hell's Ravage, targeting down those Hearse as best as he can, but the Dwarves pushing forward here. More units pulling through. Another Hearse in this fight for Hells. Need to get that one onto that Einhjar before another special attack comes through. And Gaboo, for whatever reason here, does not have population, as the army of Hells is cleaning up nicely. The villagers coming through here going to start shanking down those throwing axemen pretty well on this fight, as the Hearse over here slowly getting targeted down. You've got to keep an eye on your enemy throwing axemen here, in all honesty. You can snipe those down nicely, but the army of Hells has been fairly well taken out on this position. Great micro from Hells to pull in there, but he needs to pull back for the time being, realizing that this is not the fight to take, as the population getting closer and closer here as he's retreating away. The villagers in the center for Hells going after the boar on this position. Good focus fire here from Hells. Doesn't quite snipe that low HP Hearse down, but he does manage to push those units away. And Hell's going to continue to pump units out here, continue to put pressure on, as we see the Raven spotting this gold mine over here. I wouldn't mind seeing just a handful of raiding cavalry moving up and just harassing this gold mine over and over again. As Gaboo holding nicely here. We're still seeing all these dwarves in the center of the map here, looking nice. As it's 90 population apiece here, but the Einhjar, that's the scary thing in these fights. Can Hells win this fight? I think he should be looking to just utilize the range of those throwing axemen to hit dwarves from afar. If Gaboo's not going to want to engage him here, just utilize those throwing axemen. There's also a really, really low HP ox cart here that could get sniped, as well as Hells. He does have the medium throwing axeman here as well, so he's got that advantage where that's concerned. Medium cavalry coming in, maybe a little bit overzealous. I'm not sure that one's that useful, considering he's only got a handful of raiding cavalry at this point, as he does manage to snipe down that Einhjar at the start of the fight here. Throwing axeman going to town on those enemy Hearse here, as a troll spawn going to be a big help. Gaboo yet again bringing his dwarves and everything else into the fight as this game is motoring ahead. Can Hells manage to snipe down all of the Hearse that are coming through here, as the troll does get that one Hearse, managing to snipe that down. Great fight there from a great micro there from Hell's Ravage to ensure that that one goes down, as all remaining Hersa seemingly have been taken down. But look at the population differential now. It's fully in favor of Gaboo as Hells retreats back. He needs to get himself out, and I do think the raiding cavalry, maybe the raiding cavalry are the right option here. If you can get himself mass raiding cavalry at this point, what's he training? He's making raiding cavalry, raiding cavalry, raiding cavalry. Hersa, another longhouse going to be coming through here. But the next fight that comes through, if Gaboo stops putting pressure on right now, the next fight that comes through will be advantage Hell's Ravage if he can get to population with these raiding cavalry. We'll see if that's the case, as an armory attempting to get thrown down here for Hell's Ravage as Gaboo slowly starts to move in onto this position. That armory here looks like it will get up, so that unlocks the heroic age, but it's going to get taken down very, very fast as Hells wants to get himself that little bit extra advantage in this next fight with Copper Mail. Can he manage to make that happen as the villagers sneaking forward here onto this position? The units over here, they need to be ready to take this fight moving forward, as medium infantry does come through here for Gaboo, but Copper Mail is about to come in. Hells is jockeying back and forth, maybe just a little bit too much on this fight here, as the raiding cavalry now are in on the back of those throwing axemen. Going to be getting a lot of damage done. The Hersa going after the villagers here. We do see the villagers turning around, starting to shank the Hersa. Great micro there from Gaboo, making those thrown axemen deal 0 damage for a portion of that fight. A troll spawn here going to be very, very big. Hells needs to target that one down as Gaboo retreats back. We do see those raiding cavalry swinging around here, trying to take out the thrown axeman on this position. Does manage to get in onto them, but look at this now. Gaboo doesn't quite realize he's still building those thrown axemen. Needs to go back into kind of full on Hersa, but the army transition has been done. That Copper Mail is being absolutely huge in this fight here as the thrown axemen push forward. And Gaboo is in a very, very difficult position. Hammer Troll coming through now for Gaboo as he wants to start making those trolls out. I like that idea. The villagers getting left alone on this position as the raiding cavalry want to come over here and hit the gold position of Gaboo. We'll see if that's going to be a possibility or not, as Hell's Ravage pushes forward, trying to get a little bit of damage. Good micro from Gaboo as he's trying to get everything out of his military buildings. He's only got a handful, 4 military buildings compared to Hell's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 military buildings there for Hell. So just a little bit better population there as the raiding cavalry do push through here, but the dwarves for this moment here do manage to turn around, shank down. More units going to be coming through. What are these villagers doing? An ox cart not trained here for Hells, as the villagers are long distance gathering from the boar in the center of the map, as the raiding cavalry do spot the villagers on this position here. Can Hells take this next fight and find a victory? As now the Hammer Troll are coming through, and I've said this once, I'll say it again, the biggest advantage in the Norse mirror that Thor and Loki have, and while you might think Loki's advantage is this Hersa, it's not, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Hammer Troll. Hammer Troll beat every myth unit in the game, in the Norse mirror. And they take out your opponent's throwing axemen really, really well. They are so absurdly strong. Great raid here, though, from Hells trying to take that down. But Scardia is now being clicked for Hell's Ravage. We'll see how that's going to go. As look at this Pegasus checking out on this position as Gaboo. He's refused to actually go for raids in this game, just playing it really defensively. We see a town center coming up here as Hell's next option in this game is looking to be Ragnarok. He can also frost this army and attempt to kill it. I do think that a frost onto the enemy army just to kill that army off is, genuinely speaking, more value than saving it for flaming weapons. That's the town center about to come up here, and we'll see how things are going to go as the town center gets up. And Hells is in the heroic age. Is he going to take this fight is the big question. Now, one thing he's got to ensure he doesn't do is overbuild those frost giants. He's got to make sure he builds the frost giants, but he has to find a way to take down those hammer trolls. As we do see the army starting to take this fight here. The Ursa are going to sneak around onto the back Or maybe they're going to sneak in onto that Einir as they do manage to start hitting that one there. Taking that out potentially before a special ability comes through. Does manage to do that one there. But the Hursa have all been taken out. And look at the damage that these trolls do. I mean, they're getting taken out in all honesty. But I think that Gaboo can just continue to fight that. As Bragi coming through. He's got even more trolls coming through onto this position as the village is going to get pulled back. There is a gold mine over here that he can jump onto. Gaboo might want to consider not going into this specific position, not going into Battle Ball, just because the Frost Giants, they're quite strong. The trolls deal with them nicely. As there's the heroic age for Gaboo coming through. It's 130 population though for Hell's Ravage at this position as the Frost Giant does come in, and now the Battle Boar is going to be a really big help moving forward here in this fight. The big thing though to take note is that Gaboo, with all these myth units out, he doesn't have a good usage of flaming weapons in his back pocket. Flaming weapons here is relatively useless. He's only got a handful of human units, so he can't, well, he's not going to click it because there's frost, but this just means that there's more reason for Hells to want to be clicking frost on this position. As the raiding cavalry try and sneak in, they do manage to take out some more of those throwing action. I really like this army composition that Hells is going for in this game. As the troll does go down there, the army going to get pushed back, or the myth unit's getting pushed back. Gaboo in the main base, he started farms. We're seeing farms starting for Hells, but Hells is still in the middle of the map on Hunt. We do see that Gaboo is on the side of the map there on Hippo as well. So both players are slowly starting farms, but Hells being at 2 town centers is a really, really big advantage. As Hells moves back onto this position, going to be sending those raiding cavalry off to try and hit some raids onto these dwarves as well. We'll see if he's going to get all too much damage done up there or not. As the Hursa hanging in on this position, trying to take out the Battle Boar and everything else on there. We do see the Ox Cart get sniped down. Gaboo with some nice reaction there does turn around and take the fight, but great awareness there from Hells to pull away. Doesn't quite pull away enough though, as the Dwarves will kill off all of those raiding cavalry, and Gaboo will be able to move back onto his hippopotamus afterwards. But no Ox Cart does cause some problems there for Gaboo as a marker coming down, and Hells' plan, as always, very, very clear. He wants to go for a Ragnarok. The question is, on this map, in this position, is Ragnarok just straight win? Answer? Maybe. Just maybe. As the Battle Boar going to get cleaned up here. Hells pulls back ever so slightly. No Frost, well, one Frost Giant here. Does need to be really careful not to throw away that Frost Giant to random Hursa. Great micro yet again from Hells folks firing those Hursa are really, really nice. So there, turns around onto this fight as the Hursa are going to be taking out a Frost Giant there. As Hells has clicked up through Baldr, but is this one of those more too greedy Baldr advances from Odin, which forces that Ragnarok you don't want to click, as Gaboo is just pushing in and causing a lot of problems here for Hells. Hells does get himself another Frost Giant coming through here. That will clean up that Battle Boar there as Flaming Weapons gets clicked, and Frost here for Hells is completely valid and viable, as Gaboo, he's got nothing left on this position. All these units are going to fall. Hells gets a clean Mythic Age out of this, a clean Baldr. In the main base over here, we do see a hill fort coming up as Gaboo wants to defend his main base, but the gold mines are getting expired. He does have this food up here. He can move on to this gold mine afterwards. But a 69 population Ragnarok, Rhyme coming through as well for Hells, going to be a big, big assistance moving forward in this game. As the Hursa moving over here, going to start taking down the Frost Giants there as well. Good Good awareness from Gaboo to snipe that there, but he's not paying attention now to his Herser. He might end up getting taken down as the flaming weapons. There's just a little bit of time left in it, but the rest of these units do end up falling. Oh, Mountain Giants spawn there. Not going to be the biggest of help with those Fire Giant, or Frost Giants, I should say. And there's the immediate Ragnarok coming through for Hell's Ravage. 260 population, but no trade route, no nothing remaining. He's going to be immediately hitting this gold mine. He's going to be immediately hitting this gold mine. But Gaboo's got 1,000 gold in the bank. Can he find a defense here is the big question. He needs to be building nothing but throwing axemen and maybe even trolls to deal with fire giants and things like that a little bit later. As the villagers getting pulled off of this location, the tree line in the back is almost expired as well, as Hells is starting to march forward into the main base of Gaboo. We'll see if he can find the victory here as the dwarves over there getting sniped down. Houses going down here as well. Gaboo is at full population for the time being, but he will need to rebuild those houses moving forward. Is this hill fort going to go down fast? Do we see masons? No masons here. No building upgrades for Gaboo at this point, as the huge swath of Ragnarok creeping in onto this position, taking down the hill fort there, looking to take everything else out as well. As we do see a longhouse on that position going up. The thrown axeman getting taken out on that position there as well. As the mountain giant ends up going down, temple going down here as well, as Gaboo is about to get forced out of this position. So many Ragnarok heroes pushing in. How does he defend this? He's got a handful of throwing axemen, no real great upgrades. Well, he's got full copper, or full copper, but not that bronze armor, as the Rag heroes swing around onto the back compared to, well, nearly full copper as well for Hells, but not a whole lot remaining here, as the Ragnarok going to be cleaning up the town center, cleaning up everything in this main base. Gaboo still has 40 villages remaining. He's out of gold income at the moment, out of gold as well. So this is all he has left over, as the Rag heroes are just too much for Gaboo in this position, as he tries to retreat back in an attempt to make some sort of a retreat with those dwarves. Gaboo does know that basically here Hells has got no follow-up after this Ragnarok is defeated, but I don't know if it's possible to defeat this one here, as the villagers get found out. Gaboo down to 30 villagers. The fire giant comes in, special attack coming in, huge amounts of damage, splash damage coming in as well, as the Ragnarok heroes come in with a ghost building, and that forces Gaboo out of the game. GG is called for Gaboo, and Hells claims the series 2-0 with some exceptional Loki diffusing game plan here. I really like this one, though. I think Gaboo did not play into his strengths as he does. Normally, Gaboo is running around the map, hitting raids. There was that one position where Gaboo found the advantage in the early game. He beat Hell's Ravager's army really nicely with the Hall of Thane's timing. Hells didn't give him credit for that timing there. But then Gaboo didn't utilize that speed to kind of roam around, try and hit raids on this, raids on this, raids on this, and just kind of allowed Hells to utilize the strength of his army, which isn't speed or mobility. It's just the fact that it kind of can trade decently against those Herser. And Gaboo just could not find the wins in the fights consistently enough to push himself in front to win this game. Really nice game here from Hells. If you enjoyed it, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next game.